It's also been a busy past couple of days for judo in Gibraltar. They've had several visitors from the UK over the weekend, putting young and old through their paces, always helping to develop the sport locally. This was followed up by a grading session on Tuesday afternoon down at their Wellington front premises, where I caught up with the Conroy brothers, who brought me up to date with developments at their club.
Well, we organised a workshop with the association from UK, Nippon Dai. Professor Tony Smith came with a team of 4 instructors, and they covered judo, jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. They were going to come last year with 20 people, but unfortunately we couldn't find accommodation for them, so we had to cancel it. But this year we've been very lucky to find accommodation, so we're looking forward for next year as well, because they're going to try and organise a big team, so we'll see what happens.
Now you've mentioned the fact that last year you weren't able to find a venue big enough to be able to cater for such a large event. You've got your own small little club here, but it's your club. The membership tends to be sort of outgrowing this place now, and it's tough for you guys to organise bigger events than you actually do.
Yeah, we have a good membership, but I would like to do most of our things in private rather than doing it elsewhere. But if it comes to if we get a lot of people, then obviously we can go down to Victoria Stadium and Centenary Hall, obviously. So in that stance, we don't have any problems. We can always go to the development offices and they can organise it for us. But most of the events where we do mostly training, I prefer to do it here in the club.
Now you've mentioned Tony Smith, a good friend of yours here in Gibraltar. He's come over several times. I've interviewed him several times. What sort of relationship do you share with Tony Smith and obviously all the instructors that he brings over? It's a very good working relationship that you've got going.
Yeah, we're all a member of the same organisation, which is the Nippon Dai Budokai, which is a Budo association, which covers all martial arts, different martial arts. And Tony Smith, Professor Smith, is the head man in the association. And we've been going on from about 20 odd years now. In 1983 was the first time it came out here, and from then on we've been associating with his clubs in his area and also Liverpool and Manchester area as well.
Now Peter, turning to you, obviously as we've mentioned, Tony Smith coming to the Rock many times before. How important are his visits and the instructors that he brings to Gibraltar in order to help develop the sport locally, obviously starting from a very young age? We've seen some very young children in there on Saturday and today.
Yeah, well it's very important. It's like, the kids get used to the training we give, me and myself and my brother Charlie, and to have instructors from UK, it gives different different experience in different arts, and they get used to different instructions as well, and it's very good for the children.
And obviously enjoyment is a massive part of any sport, especially at such a young age, so you can tell by the faces on most of the kids that they really enjoy these trips. It makes it a bit of a special occasion for them.
Yeah, well, the kids love it, just having a different instructor there on the mats, and doing different things, like the workshop we did on Saturday. We covered the kickboxing, we covered the judo, we covered the jiu-jitsu, kempo, and the kids love it.
And one final point from you, Peter. What exactly has Master Tony Smith and all the other instructors, what have they been doing with the kids over the week?
Well, that's what they've been doing basically. It's jiu-jitsu, a group doing jiu-jitsu, another group doing kickboxing, judo, and they've been changing around all the time, swapping around, and basically that's what they've been doing, and they've loved it.
I also managed to speak to some of their visitors, and they gave me their views on their latest trip to Gibraltar. Master Tony Smith, it's been a brilliant week here to have you here on the Rock. It's been a busy one for you as well. Just to tell us briefly what you've been doing over the week with the kids and the not so young as well.
Yeah, they seem to be getting younger and younger when they started martial arts now. The idea is that we can come along, use our experience, what we do in the UK with them, use it as far as put it into a game form as well, so it keeps their attention. And we just put a little different edge on what we do. When they're training their own club, the Budokai Club is a fantastic club, but when you get somebody else come along, they might do something just slightly different than you do it, and it makes it interesting. So we try and instill that with the kids, make it in game form, get into them, show them what we do, so they've got an extra item, if you will, in their armoury when they get a bit older. So that's how we work it.
You mentioned the age of the kids. I mean, you said it seems to be like they're getting younger and younger every year. Yeah. I'm also very surprised and very impressed with the age of some of the kids that are involved in martial arts across the board in Gibraltar. Is this something that is mirrored in the UK, or is it something unique to Gibraltar, the fact they start off so young?
No, it's mirrored in the UK as well. We're starting to get now where parents bring children along because they want them to, number one, learn self-defence techniques and that sort of thing, but also they want to learn the discipline side of it, and they want to learn to get them to have interactive skills, which they don't get a lot of today. They'll go home with computer games, you know, it's fine, but they're not interacting. And with a club like this, they interact with different children, you know, girls, boys, different lads. It's great, and that's where they get the skill from.
But obviously, you just mentioned there's many aspects to taking part in martial arts. Self-defence is one of the first things that comes to mind. Many parents try to get their kids involved in a martial art to help them in self-defence when it comes to the late years of childhood.
Yeah. Also, if you've got a situation where a child's been brought up in a martial arts environment, they don't just learn to punch somebody or throw somebody. They learn to recognise things before they happen, and they learn that skill of escape, get away from it, avoid it at all costs. And it's a good thing, so they have a mechanism built into them. As they get older, it stays with them. So all that we do, again, coming back to the young, keeping that instilled in them then, comes back when they're older, and it just comes natural to them.
And if we can just take a look at your trip in a more technical aspect, so what exactly have you been doing with the kids? What sort of things have you been putting them through their paces with?
We've shown them about escapes, doing escapes, so how they can escape from somebody very quickly, and how they don't need to use strength, they can do it just by technique. Also, little escapes where they can just, if somebody grabs them, how to get a wrist grab off them very quickly, they can do that quickly. Little kick to shin, that sort of thing. It's something that they can do, which are like, if you will, tricks, which get them out of that situation. But if they can see that it works, then they're interested and they'll do it, and it just makes them a lot better.
And one final point, I just mentioned to Charlie and Peter Conroy in the previous interview, the fact that this being once a year, the kids get to enjoy some instructors from out of Gibraltar. It makes it a bit special to them. Is that something that you've really seen in their enthusiasm over the week?
Absolutely, yeah. When we come to Gibraltar, we always get the best of welcome we can ever get. This is a cracking club to come to. Charlie, all his instructors, have always been absolutely 100% with the people that I brought out. The people I brought out always say, we're going back again next year, let's come next year. You know, they enjoy it. They get a buzz from teaching the children, and the children, I think, get a buzz from us coming through, yeah.
What sort of techniques and what sort of different stuff have you brought to this seminar this week?
Mainly the kicking and punching, but it's always well received here. The kids seem to like what we do, and we try and make it fun for them. And we do the rolls, the breakfalls, punching and kicking as they get up off their feet, and they seem to do very well and enjoy what we try to get across to them.
Now, you said off camera that this isn't your first time in Gibraltar. You've been here a couple of years ago, so how have you found that the sport or martial arts in Gibraltar has progressed since then?
The standard is very high in Gibraltar. We're always impressed by the judo and the jiu-jitsu that Sensei Conroy's, Peter and Charlie do. They've got very, very good technique judo and very good technique jiu-jitsu, so we're always impressed with what we see here. Yeah.
Now, kickboxing isn't one of the martial arts that's biggest in Gibraltar. Do you think that this has a positive effect when you do bring it over to the youngsters when they take to have a go at it?
Yeah, we have to say kickboxing is not a martial art. It's really a sport, so we have to say that it's a sport. But it's using the martial art techniques, so we use the kicks from karate, kempo, and we use the punching from boxing, so it's a sport really, but you wouldn't think so when you watch it sometimes, and you see the full contact. But yeah, I enjoy it out here. It's really good.
One final question, you're hoping to come back maybe next year, not in the not too distant future?
I'd like to come back again next year. We always enjoy it. We're always made welcome and treat with respect. We enjoy it every time we come.
The Rock's top pool players have also returned from international competition recently. They travelled to Scotland for the annual Island Black Ball Association Championships and managed to bring back a gold and silver medal. To find out more about the trip, I spoke to the GPA's president, Sean Rumbado. Well, Sean, you've just come back from Rosyth in Scotland, where you were taking part in the IBA Championships, the Island Black Ball Association Championships. Brought back a medal and some good results from Team Gibraltar.
Yes, there was, Richard. The Team Gibraltar did very well, especially the ladies. They won the round-robin section. Unfortunately, they couldn't capitalise on that in the team event. But two ladies from the team, Nikki Correa and Karina Flood, they made it to the finals of their individuals. So we did bring back gold and silver from the IBA.
Now, it is a competition or an event that Nikki's done very well in the past. This is a second gold and a silver to go with that as well. But what sort of nations or islands are we competing against in these championships?
Right now it's a small championships. I mean, we only compete against Shetlands, Orkneys and the Isle of Man. But still, the standard of pool is very high, but it's more competitive for us.
And obviously this is the first international of the season for Gibraltar's Pool Association. The leagues and the cups, the domestic scene begins very shortly, and looking ahead to the end of the month is the World Championships as well.
Yeah, that's correct, Richard. The league starts shortly in November, on the 6th of November. We're aiming to start the league, and on the 25th of this month we're flying off to Perth in Scotland again for the World Championships. We'll be competing against roughly about 20 nations there. So yeah, we're looking really forward to that in all the different categories, the under-18s, under-23s, ladies, men's and masters. So yeah, it's looking really good.
I also spoke to Golden Girl Nikki Correa and first asked her to run us through her competition.
To be honest with you, I kept calm the whole tournament, and winning 4-1, 4-0, 5-1 and 6-1 went all right. I was confident in the way I was playing at the time. When I got there, because before I got there I was not playing well at all, but when I got there I was playing quite well. So I was quite confident, to be honest.
And like I mentioned earlier off camera, this is your third medal at the IBA Championships, your second gold, the other being a silver, so it's a tournament that you tend to relish in.
Yeah, it goes quite well. If only all the tournaments were like this, you know? I end up losing in the final of the Europeans and the finals of the nations, so hopefully one day I will get one of them. We've got the World soon, so let's see what happens.
We'll talk about the World Championships in a second, but obviously it has to be mentioned that you won in the final against a fellow Gibraltarian, so did that affect or change your game plan in any way?
Not really, because to be honest with you, you play the table, not the player. So as when you get there, you try your hardest, and what happens, happens, to be honest. But well done to my fellow Gibraltarian as well.
And now, obviously, looking ahead in the next couple of weeks, you'll be off to Scotland for the World Championships. What are your prospects on that tournament?
Well, I'm hoping to do quite well there. The way I'm playing at the minute, I could do well. So hopefully, let's see what happens.
Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for on this week's programme. But as always, don't forget to tune in again next week to keep fully up to date with all of Gibraltar's sports news.